the human thumb, Sean Hannity, one of the main Fox guys who looks like a member of our gang, aged poorly. And let's see, can we do? Yeah, we'll do this. Should back this up. Boop.
His cases to immediately drop. And earlier today, former President Trump, he called on the special.
Okay, boring. Trump calls on the DOJ to immediately drop charges against him in classified docs after Biden decision. No, just because another guy did something similar and it didn't reach the level of prosecution, it just shows what the standard is. That you went well beyond that, dumb fuck.
Counsel in his cases to immediately drop all charges against him, especially in the classified documents.
How about no?
This case, following news that Biden will not be charged. And President Trump called Biden's case, quote, 100 times more severe.
That's adorable.
And called out the two standards of justice in our country. Here now with reaction is.
Well, he told that to Fox News Digital. I didn't realize he was getting the really, the heavy hitters.
Trump legal spokesperson.
Alina
Habba. Legally speaking.
Jesus Christ, she's staring a hole in all of us.
The question I was just asking Greg Jarrett, and by the way, thank you for joining us, Alina. The question I was asking him, now that this is their standard, that you can willfully retain and handle classified documents and not be punished for it, does that open up a legal window for you and your legal team to go in and say, we need equal application of our laws here?
If you get equal application of the laws, then what'll happen is that the initial retention, where the stuff was discovered and immediately handed back, or any of the stuff previous to that where they realized this was there, that immediately gets dropped. And then he still goes to jail for conspiracy. He conspired with Walty Nada and 3 other people. They tried to erase the fucking video servers at Mar-a-Lago to hide the fact that they were shuffling boxes around, dumb fuck. There's nothing even remotely close to that in the Biden stuff.
Absolutely. I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anything that stops me from having to actually argue something in court, because fuck me.
The one thing that we learned today from Special Counsel Hur is that there is, in fact, and not that we didn't know it, Sean, 2 systems of justice. One if you're a Republican, one if you're a Democrat. We've seen it.
Well, yeah, there is. I agree. There's 2 systems of justice. If you're a Democrat, if you find out that something illegal is going on, in the case of somebody like Bob Menendez, you immediately go, fuck that guy, get him out of our party. Or if it's something that you realize that you were unintentionally doing from a legal standpoint, you go, oh, this was not intended. Mea culpa, I'm sorry this actually happened. Let's do whatever we can to remedy it immediately. And if you're a Republican, the other side of it is that if you're found out to be engaged in something massively illegal, you say, fuck you, no, I'm not. Come get me, motherfucker. And then you spend the rest of your time hiding the evidence. Oh, you mean on the receiving end of it? I'm sorry, I thought.
Time and time again, you've spoken of it. The way that this
Habba Booey, that's funny,
can be used, and what has become obvious that they haven't really thought about is they try and look impartial. They try and say, okay, we're going to raid Mar-a-Lago. Ooh, maybe that was a little too much. Let's peel it back. Let's look at Biden's documents. One thing they're forgetting.
He invited them in. It's a huge part of this. He invited them in. He said, look wherever you need to look. Look at the house, look in the garage, look at the Penn Center, get anything that's in there that might even be close to be considered this way, and put it back where it needs to go. No fight, no harm, no foul. Trump was like, I dare you to come in here, motherfuckers.
That is so clear to me as an attorney, is that number one, President Trump has one thing that Biden, as Senator Biden, as Vice President Biden, didn't have. The Presidential Records Act, something that has shielded President Clinton. So when you're looking at this dual system of justice, they're...
Oh, she's talking about the Sox case, by the way. Also, I've shown you this many times, but when Obama-Biden came in, Obama signed an executive order saying that the vice president had the same classification and declassification powers that the president had. Just saying.
Going to have to face the music when we're in court. They're going to have to answer questions.
Although I don't know what the rules are, and she might have just stepped in it, and this would be a good question to try and find out, is that while the Presidential Records Act holds all the president's records, does it not hold the vice president's records? And therefore, that's why some of this stuff went with him and didn't, automatically get turned over. Because there was even though Biden had the same classification and declassification powers as the president based on that executive order, the retention of the documents is really about the president. That's an interesting line. We'd have to look at that as far as what they hold.
And you know what? We shouldn't even be going to court. Honestly, I agree with my client 100%.
Well, you shouldn't, because you suck. I mean, you're a terrible lawyer. That's right. Alina Habba, you should not be going to court. Yes, I agree. Look at that. We're making progress, everybody. I completely agree with this dizzy asshole. She doesn't belong anywhere near a court. Shit, she shouldn't even be filling out the forms they use to go to court. She shouldn't be going to a fucking food court. She shouldn't be going to night court. She shouldn't be watching episodes of night court. She shouldn't be a guest on the people's court, motherfucker. You shouldn't play tennis. For obvious reasons.
100%. They need to drop charges and let Americans believe that we're not going to be treated differently depending on our politics.
Well, I got news for you. None of us are ever going to be able to experience this, the vast majority of us, because we're not going to have access to the presidential level of above top secret documents in the first place. And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm making this pledge tonight, if you're welcome. When I become president, I'm only saying this because I hope someone interviews me at some point and goes, this motherfucker thought he could be president way back in 2024/2010/2008, plus some joke he made in 1987 when he was 17. But at no point will I allow top secret or above top secret or classified materials to get into the hands of our enemy or be handled loosely. As a matter of fact, I will institute in my presidency a coding system that involves like an RFID strip in all classified documents that they could be tracked wherever they are all the time. Now, I know, like we have a dollar bill, the line, the little strip that's in a dollar bill that tells you that it's not counterfeit. You can do that with sort of a Bluetooth level tracker in it. I'm sure the Pentagon has tech about that. I can't talk about how I know that because that would sources and methods. Right.
I don't think they're capable of it. I think they have severe Trump derangement syndrome. But, it's very obvious what's happening here. But I do want to thank Special Counsel Hur for making it very clear to the American public that
that while he doesn't like what Biden did, what Trump did was way fucking worse.
Man can't even remember when his son was passed. And more importantly, Sean, did you see what he said today in the press conference? He doubled down on it and said, I didn't think I needed to answer that question. Well, that's another problem that we haven't spoken about. You're sitting in an investigation. You have an obligation to answer truthfully. And
no, you don't. What was the date of your son's death? Fuck you. Fuck is wrong with you? You're going to ask me about dates when boxes were moved around, and then you're going to ask me about my son's fucking coffin? Fuck you. Of course he didn't have to answer that question. What the fuck are you talking about? It's a matter of public record. It's not the idea that it matters to him and more than all the days he was sick and all the days he was dying and the funeral and the fucking stuff that they go through every year because they have a memorial for him. Get the fuck out of here.
Honestly. Today was just mind-boggling. They absolutely should drop the charges. We shouldn't even have to go as far as to defend it.
Well, you can't. I mean, of course, that's why you think that.
And then right there, he had a memory lapse. I wear this every day. My son's rosary from Our Lady of no answer. He didn't finish it. Then he said, General.
Well, because he stops himself because he's not going to, and it's none of their goddamn business. He finds himself, but this is stupid. I'm being pulled into this conversation. I do the exact same fucking thing sometimes when I'm arguing these points in the show. I'm like, why the fuck am I even have to talk about this again? How many times we're going to cover this shit?
El-Sisi of Egypt was from Mexico. On top of what else has happened this week? He couldn't remember the name Hamas, Francois Mitterrand, Helmut Kohl of Germany when it was Angela Merkel. I just don't know how many of these moments he can keep having when people stay in denial. And for the record, Alina, I faced a lot of criticism when I was probably one of the first people out there to point this out on a regular basis. And You know, how did I get paid back in return? They tried to compare me to Joe. Well, even Sean Hannity once got mixed up the names of Matt Gaetz and Jason Chaffetz. No, I don't have this problem.
Really? Which one's which? And obviously, we know you know the difference between Jason Chaffetz and Matt Gaetz. You know, one of them sex trafficked teenagers, and the other one is Jason Chaffetz, right?
And that's the problem also. He's the president of the United States. I don't have the nuclear football next to me at
You think the president carries around nuclear weapons?
all times of my day and night. I don't have that. So, you know, I don't
Sean,
know.
I
What
would
is the
feel
country
better
going
if
to
you
take out
did,
of this?
frankly.
We
Well, I
probably
think
would
the
be in
country
better
has
shape.
to see it for what it is. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Did Sean Hannity just assert that he's a historic figure who should be president one day?
Yeah, we would. Listen, they hit you, they hit me, they hit anybody that stands with what's right and the Constitution.
Well, that's why. So they're not hitting Trump, is what you're saying.
Stands with the moral compass and the boundaries that we used to have as an America. We don't have them anymore.
Well, that's because we didn't have to use it. It's because of your fucking boss. Nobody ever tested it because there was a line we didn't have to cross the line because nobody ran across it and said, you can't catch me. I crossed the line. You guys have to stay on that side of the line. Civilization depends on it.
They fear what they are. They know that President Trump is the right person. They know that we have
the right person for prison. Sure.
Candidate that's fighting him that can't even spell Bob backwards. And we're sitting here trying to deal with and reconcile how we're safe as a country. Well, we're not, which is why they're making fun of us all around the world, which is.
Well, they're making fun of you because, I mean, Trump's going to lose basically his entire company because you checked the wrong box.
It's why we're seeing what's happening with our borders. And it's complete election interference. It's completely because they have to lie, cheat, and steal in order to win in November. If we don't.
Why? Are you saying they didn't win legitimately last time? Is this you saying that the election was stolen? Are you in charge of coming on Sean Hannity? You're just gonna let her come on and say that the 2020 election was stolen? Is that cool now? Because I don't know if the last time you ran that storyline, it cost you $748 million.
Stop as a country. If we don't wake up and say, this is a man who just frankly can't do it. And by the way, if he can't do it, who are we stuck with? Kamala? Oh, boy, we are in trouble. So as a country, like Alan.
Why is that? I got news for you. She was a prosecutor in California, never caught on the fucking back foot. There's not that I'm aware of. There's not a single legal situation where somebody went to jail who didn't deserve it or didn't go to jail who did deserve it because she didn't check the right fucking box, dum-dum.
Said, and I love Alan Dershowitz because he
hung out with Jeffrey Epstein and got a massage at the guy's fucking house and went to the island several times and was friends with Trump and with Jeffrey Epstein for a couple of decades for that reason? Is that the big reason?
He is a Democrat, but he sees it for what it is.
No. You can't just registering yourself as a Democrat is not what makes you a Democrat. If you're gonna fucking rhino everybody that disagrees with you, I can kick one person to the fucking curb, and Alan Dershowitz is it.
We are in trouble. We got to get behind Trump right now if we want our country back, and that's the truth.
That's all he said? He didn't say, and we got to keep our underwear on, otherwise people will think the wrong thing. Did he put that in there?
Well, certainly this election is going to take on a whole new significance, I think, starting tomorrow. And
yeah, absolutely. It's yeah. I mean, as soon as when the thing right after, yeah, this story's going to stick around. I think it's probably going to, and then it's going to be a big turn when Comer, I guess, something.
We'll see what happens. I think we all know that if Donald Trump had these moments, the media coverage would be far different.
What moments are you talking about?
Free health care for illegal. Look.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
Michigan gave us Motown. Gave us Motown. Gave us the Mustang.
Christopher Columbus. Christopher, huh?
Mm-hmm. Those kind of moments, you mean? Or there's something...
You have the ocean and you have the sun. There's something about that works.
Sure.
Purge the anti-Semitism and pro-terrorism. What you're doing. PP2.
Sure.
Peace through strength on the earth beyond.
Yeah. If Trump had moments like that, I'm sure you would cover the shit out of him, Sean.
And that's just the...
Yeah, and I mean, just the double standard of what you have to deal with every time because it's what you're doing.
Winston Churchill stood on the rooftops in London, very calm, making speeches. Winston Churchill.
He meant explosive in terms of fire. This isn't the let's read the book school.
No, clearly.
Double standard that we have. Alina Habba, great to have you. Thank you so much. Hey, Sean Hannity.
Ew. By the way, I don't want to... I mean, I guess I don't mind. I don't mind bumming out the right wing, but this isn't going to be a story. 2 days from now, this is going to be in the nobody gives a fuck file.